Hey everybody, welcome to the shop. So today I'm over here with a 2016 Jeep Wrangler, and Bill said that his brakes were dragging and he could hear it. If he could hear it, it's pretty serious. But what we found was a stuck caliper. And what we found out was sometimes the caliper is not actually stuck, it's a symptom, not the actual problem. So let's take a look at it and show you how to diagnose that and what you can do to fix it. Follow along. If you look on this Duralast brake pad box, it shows different things of worn pads and the problem that it is. And if you look at this one, a pad, pretty much one of them worn out and the other one almost new, that's a sign of a frozen caliper. Well, check this out. So this is the driver's side rear caliper brake pads. And this one looks pretty dang new. This one's gone. So I'd say that's pretty much exactly what they showed for a frozen caliper. Let's fix it. Now we know this brake caliper is frozen. Let's go ahead and diagnose whether it's this caliper or whether it's this brake hose. To further illustrate that this caliper is frozen, this piston should slide back pretty easily, and that's locked up. To differentiate between the caliper being frozen or this line causing the caliper to be frozen, we can take a 15mm wrench and break loose this line. Okay, so we've got a little bit of fluid coming out of our caliper, and look at this. That piston now slides back in there. But we've done enough damage to this one. I'm gonna go ahead and replace this caliper anyway. But the other thing is, there's really no fluid dripping out of this line. There's a little bit there, but not like it should with that being open. So we're seeing this more and more frequently. These brake lines kind of get blocked. And honestly, I kind of feel like even if they don't get completely occluded, you know, when you press the brake pedal, it's going to pump high pressure brake fluid through there and come through. When you let off of that, you know, if that's slightly blocked, the fluid doesn't come back, which leaves the caliper locked on. So whether that's fully blocked or partially blocked, talk to your cardiologist. Neither one's good. All right, so here's that rotor that was on that. And you can see how it's gouged up. There's a pretty good groove in there. And nobody turns rotors anymore. So we've got a new rear brake caliper. We've got a new rotor. And here's that new brake line. So these parts ended up costing a total of $370. Now there is a core charge on this that will get a refund. But this brake line was only $30. So under 10% of the cost of this repair anyway, we can get a new brake line. So honestly, at the rate that these are starting to fail, I've got a 40-year-old C30 truck out there that I guarantee you none of these vehicles are going to be running in 40 years. So this stuff, you know, they're kind of, I'm not going to say they're made worse every year, but I think there's a difference in quality over time. For less than 10%, even if it weren't the brake line, I think it's cheap insurance to make sure that this new caliper doesn't freeze as well. I want to do a quick shout out to the cute cameraman. Thanks, Maggie.
Hi, guys.
It's a little chilly out in the barn, but we're getting this done. Okay, to change out this line, it takes a 12mm wrench. And if this line is the blockage, once we get this loose, it should start dripping even more. And look at that dripping. So I'd say we definitely had some blockage in that brake line hose, as well as that caliper being frozen. So here's our old hose that did drip some, but seemed to be partially blocked. And we'll throw our new hose in. All right, and as you're doing this, make sure your reservoir doesn't run out of brake fluid. And this is dot 3, and I always use a fresh bottle. So we'll take the tin foil sealant off and just top off our reservoir. Yeah, if it runs out of fluid, you have to rebleed the entire system. So we just keep it topped off. And then we only have to bleed that back wheel. Look at that brake juice coming through there now. So the new line is good. Let's see if we can tuck it up here and it won't leak. Okay, so let's take this new caliper apart and get ready to put the line to it. Take out our plug for our brake line banjo bolt. We've got a new banjo bolt and we've got our 2 new copper washers. All right, it should quit dripping. Let's go ahead and hang this up here so it's out of the way. You don't want to hang them from the brake line because that's one of the things that can tear them up. All right, and I'm going to use some of this non-chlorinated brake cleaner. Make sure if you use brake cleaner, you really want to use non-chlorinated. If there's any chance anything that you're going to use can heat up or be welded on, chlorinated brake cleaner has been known to make phosgene gas, and that's no bueno. Clean off these emergency brake pads. And our new disc comes packed kind of with a coating of oil on it, both on the inside where the emergency brake pads go and on the outside. So the easiest way to clean that up is just hang it on the studs backwards. No need to use a nut, but put it on there and clean the backside with our brake cleaner. Then we spin it around and clean the front side. All right, we'll go ahead and throw our caliper carrier bracket on, and they take the bolts that use the 18mm heads. And we're just reusing the bolts. That's one thing, these didn't come with new carrier bolts. And these get torqued up. I don't use any anti-seize or Loctite on them. I just use a wrench. And this is where these ratchet wrenches come in really handy. Okay, so these are the 2 bolts we're trying to torque to 80 foot-pounds. But with this sway bar link, I can't get my torque wrench in there. So we're gonna do it like this. There's 60, there's 80. We gotta torque them both. Let's see, that's about 70 now, just a little more. There's 80. Gotta do what you gotta do. So on our little brake clips, the straighter side goes against the disc, and then the tension side goes to the outside. So basically, pops in just like that. I use this Permatex Ultra Brake Parts lubricant on these brake pads and also on the carrier pins, and I'll show you that. So this is a new caliper, and there is some very thin, clear grease, looks like probably Vaseline on that carrier pin, but I just go ahead and throw some of the Permatex grease on that because we want to make sure this thing works well. So, and then they go right back in the holes for the carrier. And then make sure you put your rubber seal back up over the lip because you want that as waterproof as possible. The other place I use this grease is right here on these tabs for these new brake pads. And you want to be careful you don't get grease on your surface of your pad, but just go ahead and throw a little smear on both ends. That'll cut down the chatter and then also allow that to come out, to release better so that you don't end up, wearing your pads prematurely. And then they just go back in these, our new clips, and just gotta push down. So now that our exterior brake pad is in, we just do the same thing with the interior. And how you know the difference is the interior has this little metal tab, and what that does is runs across this disc once it gets worn down, and it indicates that it's time to change your brakes. Makes an awful squalling. Of course, Bill didn't hear it. Okay, and then I also like to grease, just put a little bit of grease on this piston, and then also on the back sides of this caliper. I don't know if that really helps, but can't hurt. I hate squeaky brakes. We'll put our 13 on here and then hold this nut with a 15. And we'll tighten that up and do the same thing on the bottom. All right, well, that's all the installation of our new caliper, disc, and brake hose. But now we've got to bleed it. And we're going to do this old school, which means cameraman's going to disappear from camera duty because she's going to sit inside the thing and pump up the brakes while I tell her to. We'll see if we can't capture any of this. Here's the bleed screw right on the back of the caliper. And basically what we're going to do is I'm going to ask her to pump up the brake. She's going to hit it about 3 or 4 times. And then she's going to keep pressing down while I open that screw and let any air come out. And then once I tighten it again, she'll let go of the brake. And we'll just keep doing that until all we get out of that is brake fluid. Also, we're going to keep checking our reservoir to make sure we don't run out, because we don't want to pump no air in the system. That's for sure. We want it out of there. So it's tightened back up. Go ahead and pump it back up. And we got a little drop of fluid, but we got a big belch of air. So we're on to something. You got it held? Okay. There we go. All right, go ahead and pump it up. That was a bigger drop of fluid and a smaller belch of air. You got it held?
Yep.
Okay. Oh, okay, go ahead and pump it back up. So this is the old school way of doing it, but it's the way I prefer and the way I have better luck. So now we're pretty much getting only fluid and no air.
Okay, hold it.
And all I saw was fluid. I didn't see any air, so pump it up and we are done. Okay, I've been corrected. It's camera girl. But does the pedal feel good, camera girl?
Feels pretty much normal to me.
Awesome. All right, let's throw the tires on this thing and get out of here.
Perfect.
All right, well, thanks for watching. This is now fixed, and we went ahead and put new brake pads all the way around, so he should be good to go. And we did torque the wheels to 120 foot-pounds. So if you got anything out of this video, give us a thumbs up. It absolutely helps the channel. We love your comments, and we invite you to subscribe to see more. Have a great day, and be safe.